I was just 18 when my best friend's mom confessed her love for me, and that was just the beginning. My best friend I had in high school was a great guy, nothing out of the ordinary, but his mom, she was different. At first, I just thought she was one of those overly friendly parents. She'd always smile a little too long, ask me strange questions about my personal life, and compliment me in ways that felt off. But one day, she asked if we can talk in private. I figured it had to do something with my friend. Maybe he was in trouble, or she needed advice. So I agreed. We sat in the living room while her husband and my friend were out, and that's when things got really weird. She told me her marriage was falling apart, that she was lonely, and that she had feelings for me, an 18-year-old kid still in high school. She said she saw something in me that no one else did, that I understood her. I remember just sitting there, frozen. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to destroy my friend's family, but I also didn't know how to deal with something like this. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't, not even close. Over the next few weeks, I noticed a minivan slowly passing by my house. Sometimes it will circle the block. Other times, it would just park down the street, engine off, lights off. It was her. She knew I liked going on night walks to clear my head. Somehow, she even figured out my schedule. Sometimes, she'd just appear, leaning against a street light, pretending it was some kind of coincidence. She'd ask if I wanted to talk, go for a drive, get something off my chest. But her tone always had that strange edge to it, like she was expecting something more. I started avoiding her, but she got bolder, leaving handwritten letters in my mailbox. Notes that said something like, "I know this is real. We're meant for something more. Don't let age or fear get in the way." I never responded. Then came the rainstorm. I was walking home from a friend's place late at night when suddenly a car screeched to a stop next to me. The sliding door flung open. It was her. She was crying, soaking wet, and begging me just to listen. She said she couldn't stop thinking about me, that it was eating her alive. I told her to leave me alone. She got angry, really angry. She screamed that I was heartless, that I was ruining her life by ignoring what we had. I remember thunder rumbling in the background while she stood in the middle of the street, shouting like something out of a movie. That was it. I ran home and finally told my parents everything. After that, things went quiet. She stopped showing up. No more notes, no more late drives. A few months later, I heard she was divorced from her husband and moved across the country. I've never seen her again, but even now, sometimes I think about those nights. The minivan, the notes, the way she looked at me like I was the only person in the world. And now I wonder, was I the only one? When I was 21, a guy showed up at my kickboxing gym and asked me out. I wasn't really interested. I actually liked someone else at the time, but I agreed anyways. I was lonely, and he seemed harmless enough. We went on a couple of dates, nothing serious. He seemed a little odd, but polite. Eventually, I moved to a different city and broke things off. About a year later, he messaged me out of nowhere. He asked if I moved to the same city and wanted to catch up. I was seeing someone else at the time, but we grabbed a quick coffee. Then he moved again, and I figured that was the end of it. Fast forward 2 years later. I just moved back to the town where we first met. One night, I was out having dinner with my parents when I saw him walk past the window. He spotted me, walked right in, sat down at our table without hesitation, and asked for my number again. I was single at the time and not in the best place emotionally. Against my better judgment, I gave him another chance. I thought maybe he would change. I was wrong. We agreed to meet up one afternoon. We checked out a small art gallery and grabbed lunch after. The date started off normal, but then things got weird. Out of nowhere, he confessed he never felt this way about anyone before. He said he believed we were meant to be together. He even said he could see me as the mother of his children and talked about settling down soon. I sat there, stunned. We had just reconnected. I barely knew him. The way he looked at me while he said these things made my skin crawl. I ended the date as politely as I could and thought that was the end of it. But it wasn't. Soon after, he somehow figured out where I lived. He began showing up at my house right after I got back from work. I started going on walks just to avoid him, but then he began driving around my neighborhood, looking for me. I finally told him that I wasn't interested in seeing him anymore. He got upset, but eventually, he said he understood and just wanted to be friends. I made the mistake of agreeing to meet up one last time to talk. We met at a quiet pub, and I gently explained that I appreciated his interest but didn't feel the same. I even told him that someone out there would be lucky to date him, just not me. He didn't take it well. After that, I tried to move on. I returned to school and began studying at the local library because the internet at my place wasn't good. At first, he would just show up randomly. He'd say hello and then just leave. But eventually, it started happening every single time I was there. And then he stopped speaking altogether. He would just sit near me, pretending to read, but clearly watching me. So I changed my routine. I'd go on different days or at different times. He always found me. Every time I moved to a different part of the building, he'd eventually show up nearby, never speaking, not saying a word to me. Then came the final straw. I got home from class one afternoon and I saw him standing outside my door. He had flowers in his hands along with chocolates. He was just rambling, saying how we could have a new start, how we could have the dream life that we both wanted. I freaked out on him. I yelled so loud that the neighbors came out to intervene. They separated us both and someone called the cops. That was it. I packed my things and moved. I'm hoping this creep doesn't find me again. I'm a 21-year-old guy living in a quiet apartment complex. A few weeks ago, I started noticing this older woman, maybe in her 40s, who hung around my parking spot. She'd always ask to borrow a cigarette, even though she lived on the complete opposite side of the building. At first, I didn't think anything of it. Just a neighbor who wants to be a little chatty. But then, it got weird. She always seemed to know exactly when I'd be outside. Whether I was walking my dog, heading to work, or going to the gym, she was there, waiting, watching. At first, I just thought she wanted to talk and maybe she wanted some company. One time, she said some strange things to me, like how she had visions about me and how I was supposed to take care of her. It made me very uncomfortable. I told her up front that I was not interested, but I appreciated her for letting me know how she feels. Big mistake. I should have ran after that. I saw her a few times after that, but totally ignored her. There was no need for me to give her signs or hope that we would be a thing. Then, one night, around 3 a.m., I was taking my dog out to use the bathroom. But as soon as I opened my door, I saw her, quietly cracking her apartment door open, like she'd been waiting for me to come out. Without saying a word, I slammed my door shut and locked everything. Who does that? Why can't she just let me live in peace? After that, things just stopped. No more run-ins, no more weird encounters, no more whispers about destiny or divine plans. It was like she vanished. I was honestly shocked. About a week later, I saw the landlord outside and asked casually if she moved out. He looked at me kind of serious and said she was evicted. Someone reported strange smells from her place. Turns out she wasn't well. The county came to do a wellness check, and she was taken to a facility to get the proper help. I didn't know what to say. I felt relieved, but I also felt uneasy. A few days later, the landlord knocked on my door again. He looked a little freaked out and said, "You might want to see this." He brought me to her old apartment. The place was dark, cluttered, strange drawings on the wall, random objects stacked in corners. But the creepiest part? On the floor in her room was a journal. He handed it to me. Every page was about me. Dozens of entries, ramblings, fantasies. Her calling me her soulmate. Writing about how she didn't actually smoke. She just wanted it as a reason to talk to me. She tracked my schedule. She wrote down what I wore, what I said, how many steps it took to get to my car. But it gets worse. On the table was a small handmade doll, stitched together with buttons for eyes and short brown yarn for hair. It was wearing a hoodie that looked exactly like the one I always wear. And next to it were photos of me, printed not on social media. These were pictures of me walking my dog from different angles, some taken from behind bushes. One even looked like it was taken from a crack in my blinds. I left that apartment shaking. I still live here, but I check over my shoulder way more than I have to. I don't know where she is, and I hope to never see her again.